It's been roughly about 3 years. I started off a platform of mine, which is about having conversation with people who have gone through experiences. And in one of the conversations, I ended up asking this question, I think, to Mr. Amitabh Kant, that how would you define Atmanirbhar Bharat? And does it mean that we'll kind of, in some sense, disintegrate from the world? And I believe that he articulated it quite appropriately. And if I remember it correctly, what he mentioned was that it is not about disintegrating from the world, but engaging with the world at our own terms. That is what it meant. And then subsequently, when this concept of Viksit Bharat came, and again I ended up asking this question to one person in the position of responsibility, it essentially, apart from many other deliverables, may mean how would you democratize prosperity towards 2047. But I'll take a step back from where you started and why and how should leaders be known for. I was thinking through, and the syllabus has changed a bit, and Pooja, my colleague, is sitting into the audience, and I thought I was reasonably kind with her for many years, but today she has subjected me in a session which immediately follows a fantastic session of Imtiaz and sitting with two stalwarts. I started to think about it, and in my own small life, I've experienced that under two circumstances, people grapple with this question. It would have happened with me at least. Once, when you kind of in your own small space arrive a little too early. It would have happened with me, and I was like 2016, 44, and I came on the executive council of our corporation globally, and I thought I've arrived. So this thought started to creep into my mind that where am I heading next? What is the purpose of my existence and stuff? And second, I think this question creeps in when you face a serious crisis. A typical midlife crisis, it would happen with a lot of people, and then they start to question their purpose of existence. So that also would have happened with me. And when you were articulating the initial this thing, I was thinking to myself, because exactly the same thing happened with me, I started to believe that what is that for which I should be known for? And of course, you can't shoot with the large ambitions of having roads in your name. And this thought would have come into my mind one of the days I was driving through Rautolaram Marg, and I was thinking that who was this guy, Rautolaram? And anyway, cutting the long story short, it kept me thinking, and I started to talk into smaller groups of what should ideally be an ambition of one individual like me. And then finally, I kind of shortlisted my ambition to the point, and I started to ask this question into groups, and I'm not asking you to raise your hands, but I did that for a while into the town halls which I used to conduct into my office and stuff, that how many people know the name of your grandfather? And a lot of people, almost 100% of the people would raise their hand. And then I asked this question, how many people would know his father's name? And then I ended up my own ambition as that. Only that I keep myself healthy enough to see the generations and pass some values to them, period. That is my purpose of existence.
A century from now, people should know.
No, only the next generation to my grandson, period. Not beyond that. And we are still sitting with stalwarts, so I should not have any ambition beyond that. And talking about country, I think we are in great times while we talk. And looking towards 2047, I will take just about a couple of minutes to give you some facts and figures. We roughly are a $3.6 trillion economy, and of which manufacturing sector of which I represent is just about 15%. And we are not moving this needle for last many years. The contribution into our GDP of manufacturing stays there, which means manufacturing is growing exactly at the rate at which the GDP is growing. We are not in a position to look at creating jobs enough for the country in the coming time. And the necessity is such that towards 2047, the contribution of manufacturing should be at least 25% of the total GDP. And then as it happens, you break it down into mid-term and the long-term targets. Looking towards 2030, the industry has set a very clear ambition to take it up to 20% of the GDP. And I represent electronics industry, and a lot of good work is happening, and I'm sure many of you would have heard about initiatives more specifically in the supply side of it. And I believe that all the readiness, which in a very structured manner has happened in the last 10 years, is ready for us to feed the huge demand which potentially is going to get unlocked in the time to come. With the kind of per capita income we will be in next 3 to 4 years, a significant amount of money will start to go into pockets of people to be able to unlock that potential to let the manufacturing grow in the country.